People are not like born and bred with the wrong opinion, okay? They learn it. They learn it from social conditioning, and ultimately they can unlearn it. They can learn the truth, okay? You know who can't unlearn the truth? Pat Robertson, because he's dead, okay? He's super dead at the age of 93.
Pat Robertson was a seminal figure of the religious right. He founded the Christian Broadcasting Network, the political advocacy group, the Christian Coalition, and the Christian College Regent University. But he was also known for his outspoken views on homosexuality, feminism, and a host of other hot-button issues.
There isn't one single civilization that has survived that had openly embraced homosexuality.
In 2001, he agreed with fellow televangelist Jerry Falwell that God allowed the 9/11 terrorists to succeed.
Yeah, that's right, folks. Pat Robertson was the OG 9/11 Andy. I'm just following in the footsteps of some of the OGs, you know?
America had moved to the left and removed religion from the mainstream.
I totally concur.
The Yale Law School graduate and Korean War vet had a religious awakening in the late 1950s. He bought a bankrupt local station in Portsmouth, Virginia, and it became the first outlet for the Christian Broadcast Network. It was the first Christian TV network in the U.S. and became one of the world's largest TV ministries. Its flagship program was The Daily Show he hosted, The 700 Club, named for the 700 donors who launched it in 1961.
I plan to make a formal announcement of my candidacy for the Republican nomination for the presidency of the United States.
Robertson, whose father was a congressman and U.S. senator, ran as a Republican presidential candidate in 1988. He came in second in the Iowa caucus, but his campaign didn't fare as well in other primary states.
So you know what's funny about this? When the news media memorializes you after your death and they like literally talk about your 9/11 takes and your homophobia, that's how you fucking know this guy was a real demon, okay? Because normally like they look at like George W. Bush and they're like, they completely avoid the war crimes and they're like, he's a giver and a lover. They always do that kind of stuff, right? You know a motherfucker is a straight demon when mainstream media is not even memorializing him with like good things that he did and is still straight up openly referencing all of the awful shit that he said.
Never shied away from expressing his views, no matter how controversial they might be.
Oh yeah, that's a funny way to end that.
After 60 years in broadcasting with Now That's What I Call Yikes, you'll get classics like homophobia.
You've got a couple of same-sex guys kissing. Well, that makes me want to throw up. And their weird way of doing sex.
Racism.
Like in the 30s, the blacks were self-sustaining. They were in business. And what happened? What is this mac and cheese? Is that a black thing?
Misogyny.
I don't think we condone wife beating these days, but something's got to be done.
Yo! A top G! My man said, I don't condone wife beating, but something's got to be done. That's an insane fucking thing to say. This guy, man, holy fuck. He was, what a legend.
The Quran, it's appropriate and permissible to have sex with little babies.
Transphobia.
Transgenders. This is nonsense. It's just a fraud. We don't want men going into women's bathrooms.
Order now.
Wait, didn't Pat Robertson also have like a weird take about trans people that was like, drop this transphobia stuff? Didn't he literally fucking also, in later years, he was like, yeah, I don't fucking, this trans stuff, like, don't fight about it. It's fine. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. It was either a miscalculation because he thought that like people don't give a shit about it, or it was dementia.
I work with two people who have decided that they are females. I know what the Bible says about homosexuality, but is it wrong to refer to them as females since they've had their gender status changed in the eyes of the law?
His pro-trans take in this situation is literally, when paired up with his homophobia take, he's literally just an Iranian Ayatollah, okay? That's what he is, which is weird. His take is straight up identical to Iran.
I think there are men who are in a woman's body. It's very rare, but it's true, or women that are in men's bodies, that they want a sex change.
I told you. This man is a legend, dude. He's the first of his kind. He's anti-L, anti-G, anti-B, and he's pro-T, okay? He flipped the script. This is actually low-key very common. I would say there are more people like this on the planet than vice versa. Technically, there might be more people who are like pro-trans and anti-gay, but in the Western world, very unique. And for that, I appreciate Pat Robertson.
I don't think there's any sin associated with that. I don't condemn somebody for doing that. Somebody who just says, well, I'm really a woman, I question the validity of that statement. But they say they're counted as female. You don't count somebody as female unless they really are, or male unless they really are.
In this instance, so this is the person who works with two people, so he doesn't really know their intentions or know their personal medical scenario.
It's not for you to decide or to judge.
He said, fuck the LG and the B, but not the T, dude. Yeah, you gotta love American politics, dude. How can you not? This person was like an important figure in American politics for so many years, and that's like the type of opinion he has, you know what I mean? He's still a trans medicalist. Dude, canceling Pat Robertson for being trans medicalist? Dude, he's like to the left of the average American citizen on trans issues. Yeah, I think that's his most problematic take, honestly. Sir, Mr. Pat Robertson, you're doing NB erasure right now, okay? So Pat Robertson died this morning, and I just wanted to take the time to say that this piece of inhuman shit was evil. I hope hell is real because that's where he fucking belongs. I spit on his grave. Here's the thread. He was a super villain among Christian conservatives. If you think the ones you know about are unhinged, this motherfucker was on another level. He vilified Hinduism. That's awesome. Out of all the things that conservative people get mad at, like conservative Christians get mad at, finding the time to shit on Hinduism is such a funny and weird line. It's just like, why did you, what are you doing? What, like, where did this come from? He said radical Muslims are satanic. He said Islam is not a religion of peace and that radical Muslims are satanic. He talked with Jerry Falwell shortly after 9/11 and blamed the terrorist attacks on the pagans, the abortionists, and the feminists, and the gays, and the lesbians. Notice how he didn't say the trans people. Notice how trans people were noticeably absent from why America deserved 9/11. Just pointing that out there. Interesting. This one's wild, and the first time I heard about him, in 2010, after the Haiti earthquake that killed over 100,000 people, some have put it as high as 300K, he said that Haiti's founders brought the earthquake on themselves because they declared independence from France. What the fuck? Pat Robertson, Iran, share in the outrageous. Christian television evangelist Pat Robertson and the president of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, have a well-established affinity for the outrageous. This time, their mutual embrace of indecency places them in the category all to themselves. As Israeli leader Ariel Sharon lies hospitalized and critically incapacitated by a massive stroke, Robertson, one of America's best-known religious extremists, and his Iranian counterpart, no slouch when it comes to religious demagoguery, suggested that the Israeli prime minister had it coming. Oh, okay, I'm cooking. No, this is like, I'm calling it. No, this is Ayatollah Robertson, dude. What the fuck? Mashallah, Ayatollah Robertson. Speaking on his show, The 700 Club, the Christian Broadcasting Network, Robertson said, the Bible makes it very clear that God has an enmity against those who divide my land. Robertson asserted Sharon was dividing God's land, and I would say, woe unto any prime minister of Israel who takes a similar course. As Robertson was offering up his thoughts about a man fighting for his life, Iran's president was expressing unrestrained hope that Sharon would die. Wait, I don't get it. Was he like pro-Palestine? What is happening? I am so confused. After the Wisconsin 6 shooting that killed 7 people, he blamed it on atheists and people who hate God. The shooter was a white supremacist with ties to neo-Nazis. He said that the 2017 Las Vegas shooting was caused by NFL players taking a knee before games and disrespecting President Donald Trump. Claimed that the critical race theory gave people of color the whip handle over white people. When a man called into a shitty show asking what he should do about his wife who was not respecting him, Pat Robertson told him his wife was a rebellious child who wouldn't submit to any authority.
It's become a real problem. She has no respect for me as the head of the house. She insults me. She even went as far as stretching her hand to beat me. I've lost my self-confidence. Her words hurt so much, and she refuses to talk through our problems. Please tell me what I can do.
Well, you could become a Muslim, then you could beat her.
Dude, that's so sick. He literally believes that. He literally believes that you should be able to beat your wife. He said it. In his mind, in that very moment, he's both simultaneously saying it's bad when they do it in Islam, while also, on top of that, he like literally believes you should be able to beat your wife.
This man's got to stand up to her. And he can't let her get away with this stuff. You know, I don't know I don't think we condone wife beating these days, but something's got to be done.
Yeah, something's got to be done. This isn't even close to everything this Christian has said and done in his life. Every moment of his adult life was spent spewing hatred of millions of Americans and contributing to the bigotry we see today. I'm getting mad just typing it. He, and more importantly, his words have strengthened the hateful rhetoric in this country. I'm glad he's dead. Yeah, I mean, he is literally the worst. He's literally the fucking worst. He's one of the worst. He's the fucking Mac Daddy, dude.
Blaming Haitians for their devastating earthquake.
They got together and swore a pact to the devil.
And the unforgettable Let Drug Addicts Die.
Well, I'm starved to death.
Order now.
He's so insane. On January 14, 1901, on the 700 Club, Pat Robertson attacked a number of Protestant denominations when he declared, "You say you're supposed to be nice to the Episcopalians and the Presbyterians and the Methodists and this, that, and the other thing. Nonsense. I don't have to be nice to the spirit of the Antichrist."
Recently, I was looking through my daughter's phone and I found many pictures of a cartoon skeleton with one glowing blue eye and wearing a hoodie. When I asked my daughter why she had such
Oh my God, Pat Robertson encounters Undertale.
demonic images on her phone, she told me there was nothing wrong with it because it was from a video game. How do I help my daughter not be attracted to such demonic things?
I think it's a fad. These funny-looking things, I wouldn't make a big deal of it. I think if you do, you magnify
You drive her to it.
Yeah, you drive her to it. That's something more wholesome that she can enjoy, provided for. You must have something. There's got to be some video game that isn't so evil, but those things are filled with violence. I mean,
it's so funny that this guy is worried about depictions of violence and brutality in a game like Undertale, which is hilarious because like the entire point is to not do that. But also, you are who you are, man. What do you mean? Like, you're Pat Robertson. Everything you have said is violent as fuck.
Unreal. And that's what the kids are playing. You say, oh, well, he's just playing a video game. Yeah, sure. Boom, boom, boom.
So why is he being remembered in a positive medium like cable news? No, he's not. I mean, that's how unhinged he is. Also, we're not done yet. In 1985, the 700 Club's Pat Robertson went to Honduras to give an anti-communist, anti-Sandinista pep talk to a group of Contra death squad troops on behalf of the CIA.
In the name of Christian righteousness, they supported apartheid in South Africa and the Contras in Central America.
You know, just some apartheid South Africa support as well.
This is one of the most moving experiences in my life to be here today.
Esto ha sido una de las experiencias más conmovidas en mi vida.
To see your faith,
Para ver su fe,
your desire for freedom and liberty,
el deseo que tienen para la libertad,
your courage,
su coraje
and your discipline.
y su disciplina.
We want to help those who are the victims of communism.
Queremos ayudar a las víctimas del comunismo.
You know, by fucking killing them and destroying them. Did the Contras kill nuns too? Like, I'm mistaking American-backed coups right now. I know the one I'm thinking of is obviously El Salvador, but I love that America has fucked every country in Latin America that, like, is it the El Mozote massacre? Is it El Salvador? Is it Honduras? Is it fucking Nicaragua? Is it Guatemala? Like, you're literally in the chat. You're like, well, you know, they did kill a bunch of nuns in this one. It was American nuns that were slain in Nicaragua. 2 Roman Catholic nuns were killed and a bishop and another nun were wounded in an armed attack in Nicaragua. The Nicaraguan government and church officials said yesterday 2 of the victims were Americans. The Sandinista government blamed the attack, which took place after dark Monday in a remote area near Nicaragua's Atlantic coast, on U.S.-supported rebels known as Contras, but there was no independent confirmation. A Contra spokesman in Washington denied it. The CIA is not good, folks. Sorry to report. How the fuck did we get here? Because we were talking about Pat Robertson, who is a demon himself. And now he's dead. So there you go.